It's Sunday, and I'm not sure what much more would make a fun day than a little bit of a mock draft exercise. Talk about this Houston Texans team after free agency. Lots of moves that changed how we thought about the approach of the Texans for the NFL draft. Plenty to get to as we have a couple of mock draft exercises coming your way, plus addressing one of the rumors that has been making the rounds here about this Houston Texans team. All that and much more. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Let's talk about the Texans, how they have wrapped up basically the big parts of free agency. I don't see any big moves left on the horizon for the Texans. Of course, early last week, I thought the dust had started to settle. They kicked it back up by adding Wyatt Teller to the equation. And now the Texans have that starting lineup filled in. If they had to play a game tomorrow, the old Nick Caserio saying they feel pretty good about the situation. Of course, the NFL draft, the next opportunity to add to the equation, the NFL draft, the next opportunity to improve the football team drastically and set them up for years to come, you would hope, with some of the success they could potentially have in this draft. We'll get to the mock draft here in just a second, but I want a quick thought here on the Aziz Al-Shaair rumor. Now, if you didn't catch this over the weekend, one of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reporters said that the Cowboys had moved on from trying to trade for Steelers linebacker Patrick Queen, and they had turned their focus to Miami linebacker Jordan Brooks and Texans linebacker Aziz Al-Shaair. Now, I don't believe Aziz Al-Shaair is going to get traded for a variety of reasons. One, he's super important to the defense. That's one of the biggest elements. They do not have somebody on this roster, and they do not have the ability to go and find a player of Aziz Al-Shaair's experience and caliber to play linebacker. So it just felt like silliness from the beginning. But then you add in the fact that he's not that expensive at the linebacker spot. And DeMeco Ryans and Aziz Al-Shaair have an incredible bond going back to San Francisco and how much Aziz praises DeMeco Ryans for helping him as a player, how much DeMeco Ryans praises Aziz Al-Shaair. He's the extension of DeMeco Ryans on the football field. It just didn't make any sense, and that reporter has since deleted the original tweet, but the rumor mill keeps going because, of course, it is the Dallas Cowboys, and there's fans all over the world for the Cowboys, and they get a little bit of information, and they just bite and hold on. But I don't believe Aziz Al-Shaair is getting traded. I don't believe that the Texans would listen to trade offers for Aziz Al-Shaair. I believe it would be stupid to trade Aziz Al-Shaair, and I actually feel like the most likely scenario is that ultimately the Houston Texans extend Aziz Al-Shaair. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they haven't extended him already. So Aziz Al-Shaair, I don't believe is going anywhere for this Houston Texans team. I don't think the Texans would, should, or could trade Aziz Al-Shaair and be a better football team. Again, I think that the scenario where he gets extended is more likely. If they were going to move off of a linebacker, I would tell you that maybe Henry To'oTo'o would be that guy. But I don't know that there's a good value for Henry To'oTo'o in trading him, because if he left in free agency and you didn't spend a bunch of free agency money, you might get a comp pick from him. That'd be next year. But the Texans have Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, Sheldon Rankins, Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie, Reed Blankenship, Kalen Bullock, all under contract for at least the next 2 seasons. I would think that Aziz Al-Shaair gets added to that equation before the offseason is over. And maybe, just maybe, the Texans find the future next to Aziz Al-Shaair in a mock draft. How would that sound to everybody? So, just want a quick thought there on the Aziz Al-Shaair rumor that was making the rounds, and we'll get to the mock draft here in just a moment. Right after to tell you about my friends at Ace Outdoor Solutions. They're the sponsor for this video. Bring your outdoor dreams to life with Ace Outdoor Solutions. Zach's a Texans fan, just like you. He's been doing this for a decade. He can create an incredible, beautiful backyard for you, from pools to pergolas and everything in between. Something as simple as a brand new fence for your backyard, something as complicated as that custom kitchen that attaches to your brand new pool. Ace Outdoor Solutions can do it all. If you want to improve your backyard, be the backyard everybody talks about this summer, Ace Outdoor Solutions can bring that dream to reality. Give Zach a call today. It's all custom work. He does a fantastic job. You saw some of the images there that display just how great the work that Ace Outdoor Solutions does. All the information that he needs in the description down below. Zach will get you that free quote. Call him today. Ace Outdoor Solutions. Get that customized, beautiful dream backyard just the way you want it. All right, couple of comments, questions, joys, and concerns. Then it's mock draft time, baby. Sir JC with a super sticker. Appreciate you, JC. Thank you. Dominic Castillo. Omega Stoots is back. I don't know what that means. I hope you're not making fun of me. A couple of comments here, and then we'll get to the mock draft. Engineer, Daniel Jeremiah had taken Basantis first round, which is interesting. Now, Jeremiah's mock draft was done before the Wyatt Teller signing, so not a huge surprise that initially Jeremiah was saying guard. Engineer again. Only plausible option is trade up for Kenyon Sadiq. Maybe. Ricky's here. Stoots back from vacation. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. I had a lot of fun. Met up with some college buddies. Gambled a little bit. Watched a lot of basketball. Ate a lot of food. It was great. Crack Nicholson. Every mock draft I've done, I've gotten Stowers, Roush, Hunter, Banks at DT, and Hecht. Not in any order, really. I did get Sadiq one time. That was just unreal. Yeah, if Kenyon Sadiq fell to 28, it'd be hard to pass up if you're the Houston Texans. Add some talent to that tight end room. Intrude says it's kind of a straightforward draft. Grizzly's happy to be here. He's got the caffeine locked and loaded, and he knows it's Sunday. Hope you didn't lose too much money, Cody. I lost what I could afford to lose, and I came back with nada. Although being able to bet on your phone, that account was pretty good. It's pretty good. Cody's going to have 4 ad reads to make up for it. No. Cody survived Lake Charles. I did. We can all agree there's no way in hell that Nick stays at 28. We'll find out when we do the mock draft exercise. MK, good to see you. HDAV Traveler, appreciate you. Will Anderson extension still coming? Feel like that's pretty big. Yeah, it's going to get here. It'll get here eventually. Doyle, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Doyle. Patrick's dropping in to say hi. He'll catch it back on the rerun. Sharpshooting Batman. Cody's back in here. Yes, I am. Super chats jump to the front of the line. DeRhino, thank you for taking time from winning big money in Louisiana to be back amongst the people. I would never leave the people, DeRhino. I would never leave the people. Appreciate you for stopping by. Can we send Blake Fisher in a 7th to Cleveland for a 5th and a 6th? Probably not. AJ says, if they traded Aziz, I would expect to trade up for Sonny Styles would be in order. I mean, you'd have to move heaven and earth to get all the way up there. You'd have to get in the top 6, top 7 to make that happen. Texans Tangents is here. The Adrian Flo says, let's go Cougs. Yeah, UH took care of their business. Texas Tech going to take care of theirs tonight. And we're going to take care of some mock draft business. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a mock draft. No parameters, no scenarios or anything like that. We're just going to do a good old-fashioned mock draft based on the fact that the Texans have gone out there and added quite a bit to their situation, quite a bit to the offense and a little bit to the defense here in free agency. And then we'll do a mock draft scenario and go through a mock draft. And we might even sneak in a different mock draft simulator. The mock draft simulator we're going to use today is the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator. But if we get a little crazy, we might do one of the other mock draft simulators. But let's get started here with the Teeman here at the buzzer. We'll get Teeman here real quick. Then we'll go to the mock draft. Teeman, good to see you in high spirits after your big losses, linebacker and DT with the first 2 picks. Teeman, appreciate you. Had fun, and you just charged the gambling losses to the game. Just charged the game losses to the game as sort of an entertainment budget. So it was fun. All right, let's get this mock draft started here. The folks have waited long enough. Gets rolling here. Sonny Styles in the top 10. Spencer Fano slipped a little bit, and so did Jeremiah Love, but lots of good players coming off the board quickly here for the Houston Texans. And the Texans here on the clock at 28. Lots of trade-up partners. Let's take a look at the players that are available. Right tackle, Blake Miller from Clemson. Another tackle, and Caleb Lomu from Utah. He played left tackle for the Utes. Cassius Howe, A.J. Halsey, Monroe Freeling is a player that is available. TJ Parker is a big-time edge rusher. The Texans probably not lean an edge rusher. Chase Basantis, Emmanuel Pregnon, Jacob Rodriguez, probably a little early for Jacob Rodriguez, though he is climbing the draft boards as we speak. Caleb Banks, the big defensive tackle from Florida. Chris Johnson, Caden McDonald, the big defensive tackle from Ohio State. And there's lots to do here, lots to do. I'm having a hard time not drafting Caleb Banks. Let's see what our trade options are. Are there any super realistic ones? I don't know if the Dolphins are really trading up. They got lots of picks, though. I don't know if the Dolphins are really trading up a couple of picks. The Jets want to trade up. The Giants. I think we'd probably listen. I think we'd probably listen to the Dolphins, right? I think we'd probably listen to the Dolphins if we wanted to do a little bit of a trade there. Jets, Giants, Vikings, Bears, Rams, not doing anything with the Rams unless they wanted to give us a 2027 first round. Will we move all the way down to 61 for that? Would we want to do, let's see if we could snag a 2027 first rounder from the Rams. Would we want to do that? Wonder if they'd give us a first rounder. Oh, okay. So they're acting like that's like a crazy offer. Get out of here, LA. I think we just draft here. I really like the idea of Caleb Banks here. I know Banks didn't play a ton this final year at Florida, but he's a nasty, nasty guy on the inside. He's got the foot injury. He's not going to be ready till June. So, man, I'm having a hard time not drafting Banks. But Caden McDonald should be there. Peter Woods should be there the next time we're on the clock. I wonder if we go back to these trades, just see if anybody would. Would the Bears throw us a future first? Man, why are the Bears acting like this is some crazy offer? I mean, we're trying to make some things happen here. All right, so Bears and Rams are being weird. What do the Dolphins have? What can we get for the Dolphins for moving up 2 spots? Can we get 94 for 167? We moved down a couple spots? Yeah, here we go. All right, picked up an extra pick here. Didn't really lose much. They drafted up for an edge rusher. Now we can still go get that defensive tackle I want. Caleb Banks is kind of got to be the move here. Picked up an extra pick so we can address some depth things in a couple of other spots, a couple other pieces. I'm going with Caleb Banks. I know that the foot injury scares people a little bit, and he missed time there. He was really good in 2024. One of the more highly touted defensive tackles. I like Banks a lot. I really don't think he's actually going to be here in the real draft. I feel like he's going to go even with the foot injury. It's kind of a Jeffrey Simmons light scenario where Simmons got hurt and he dropped. Banks is hurt. He drops. The Texans get them a big, nasty defensive tackle for the next few seasons. Now back on the clock here at 38. Nobody wants to trade into this spot. There's a guard depth here if you wanted to go with Chase Basantis or Emmanuel Pregnon. There's a linebacker in Jacob Rodriguez. Man, he would fit in great. He would fit in great with Aziz Al-Shaair long-term. Chris Johnson is a cornerback that would be a really fun and intriguing player to add to the equation if Jalen Smith doesn't work out, and long-term, if you're thinking about the cornerback position, if maybe you have to get rid of one of the top corners because you find a QB you want to pay, or you have to pay CJ Stroud, or money just gets a little bit tight. Zion Young would be a really fun draft pick, kind of a extra. Like, you don't have to have an edge rusher, but having him be the 3rd, 4th edge rusher for this team would be really good. He could absolutely be the type of player that takes over for Danielle Hunter when Danielle Hunter's leaving. Hunter's here for the next 2 seasons, though. R. Mason Thomas is another fun name. So is Gabe Yakus. You already drafted a defensive tackle, so you're probably not going with Lee Hunter. I love Eli Stowers. You guys know how much I like him. You know how much I like Jake Golday. I feel like I'm going to go with a guard here. I'm going to get some guard depth. Pregnon, a little bit of an older player, probably ready to go right now. Basantis needs just a little bit of seasoning, probably. A career left guard. Played a little bit of right tackle back in the day for A&M. He's just not as big and nasty as Pregnon is. And, man, I just think I'm going to go Pregnon. I'm going to have a guard for the future and just add to this team. Remember, look at all the picks we have. We still have lots of picks here. So we're going to get plenty of opportunities to add other players. And the A&M offensive lineman, I see this here. The A&M offensive lineman PTSD. I'm going with Pregnon. He kind of grows into the left guard role after Wyatt Teller. And Teller's had some durability stuff the past couple of years. So you have that as well as a little bit of a backup in case something like that happens. Still a lot of really good. I think this one's a pretty easy one for me. We can talk about Jake Golday, how he would be a really fun linebacker for the future for this Texans team, how Derek Moore would be a guy that can help on the edge, how Kyle Lewis could be a guy that helps you in a variety of different ways and is a special teams monster right away. Claire and Hecht and all these. Eli Stowers is one of the best interior pass catchers in this draft. If he was just a slot wide receiver, he'd be going really high. I love the situation here for Eli Stowers and the spot here for the Texans. I'm going with Eli Stowers on this one, and we'll just see how the board treats us for the next 10 picks or so. Okay. There's another running back for you if you wanted a running back. I don't know how much I like Jadarian Price. Danny Denise Sutton is a guy who a year ago at Penn State was thought if he has a good year, he turns into a top 10 pick. Didn't really have a good year. So that one's a little bit tougher, but there'd be your depth edge rusher for the future. Mike Washington is your pure speed guy at running back. Has some fumbling issues, though, Washington Jr. does. The big citrus, Dominique Orange. There's another center if you're thinking center, and Jake Slaughter. I wonder what the Connor Lou's way down here, so we can probably get Connor Lou a little bit later, right? We didn't get a linebacker because we got Banks, Pregnon, and Stowers. So Hill would be a player that I'd be intrigued by. Just missed out on Jake Golday, by the way. Don't pick again until 94. I kind of want to take an edge rusher, but I don't love Denise Sutton. I like some of these other guys better. I like some of these other defensive linemen better. Slaughter at center is kind of a fun name. I like McClellan at defensive tackle a lot more. I've seen some people say Anthony Hill should be a first-round pick, certainly top of the second. Here we are in round 3, and Hill is finding himself, available here. This is a depth piece. This is a depth pick, and you're betting on some talent in the long term if you go with him. It's Connor Lou, Zachariah Branch would be a fun one. Go with Anthony Hill. I guess a linebacker here. And don't have to help right away. Can ease him into being, and he's sort of that bridge between special teams linebackers and potential starter at linebacker. We'll go to Anthony Hill Jr. from the University of Texas. This is the draft up to this point. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle from Florida. A little bit of an injury concern here, so we may need to add one more defensive line body. Manuel Pregnon is a backup guard for us. Eli Stowers is immediately the best pass-catching tight end for the team. Anthony Hill Jr. is good depth right away for this team. Let's see. I think this one is pretty easy for me at 94. I think Connor Lou is the pick here. It's a guy that's going to have coming back from a knee injury, so maybe misses a little bit of time. Eventually going to be able to help you out at center long term. Obviously, we got the receiving tight end, so there's the blocking tight end in Sam Roush. Probably not swinging at some of these guys. Bud Clark at safety is a fun pick for me. I like Bud Clark. I don't know that the Texans like him that much. kind of getting deep into the names here. I guess it's pretty tough for me to not just pick Connor Lew here. Connor Lew is, to me, the best safety on this team. I mean, best center in this draft. Excuse me, easy for me to say. You have a long-term need at center and potentially pushes Andrews or Brown out at some point this year. Or if he takes a little time to get healthy, he helps you in 2027. I think this is Connor Lew, and it's a pretty easy pick. Because we have that Dolphins, that was the Dolphins pick. So that was what we got for moving down 2 spots. I don't know how I pass up on this. I got the best receiving tight end in this draft. Now I get the best blocking tight end in this draft. And then you kind of have the tight end room put together. You'd have Eli Stowers as the receiver. You'd have Dalton Schultz. You'd have Foster Moreau, Cade Stover, and Brevin Jordan fighting for one spot. And then you'd have Sam Roush, who has day one NFL blocking level abilities. Is there anything else that I could kind of just like convince myself the Texans need more than him? There's really not. I mean, best blocking tight end in this draft. I don't believe he's going to be here. It's kind of a little bit of a surprise that he is. I'm gonna draft Sam Roush. Now we got a little bit of a wait here. We'll speed the draft process up a little bit. 141 and 243 left on the equation. Could use some speed on this team in a variety of different places. Katron Allen's not going to bring us that speed. We drafted, by the way, here's our draft up to this point. Caleb Banks at defensive tackle, Manuel Pregnon at guard, Eli Stowers at tight end, Anthony Hill at linebacker, Connor Lew at center, Sam Roush at tight end. Could really use some edge presence, could use a little bit of speed, some of these offensive positions. Let's see here. Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton, Le'Veon Moss, Damon Claiborne. Claiborne's a speedy guy, very fast at the combine. Kalen Black is a guy that's an intriguing late-round running back prospect to me. So people want me to check in on the wide receivers. Tyrant Montgomery, the John Carroll kid. So no, the North Dakota State kid who's a freak athlete, not available. What's their edge rusher? Just let me take a look here, see if any of these guys would be right up D'Amico Ryans' alley. Tucker's intriguing. The problem with Tucker is he's a little bit small, and he played at a smaller school, and the Texans usually don't like that much. So don't love the edge rusher situation. Is there a depth tackle that I could snag just for long-term? Screw that. We get somebody that can help on day one. Is there a corner I love here? No. Great. I think we're gonna go with a running back. I think we're gonna go with we go with Claiborne, right? Like really fast. Let me look at the combine results. He was one of the faster running backs in this year's draft. Add the Wake Forest running back. He's your pure speed guy. Teach him to do a little bit of special team stuff. Yeah, he ran a 4.37. The Texans don't have a speed guy. The Texans don't have a pure speed guy. He's a pretty productive guy here in college. Go with Damon Claiborne. Get a little bit of pure speed added to the equation. All right. So there's the draft for the Texans right now. Defensive tackle, guard, tight end, linebacker, another tight end, center. Damon Claiborne. Did a good job here with this draft of helping in 2026, but not focusing too much on the 2026 season. Let's see what this last pick brings us. Well, we could take a swing on just about anything we wanted here, right? Nothing that you feel like you have to draft. And the rankings all get all cattywampus here at the end. I already have a developmental guard, so don't need that. Oh, here's my developmental pass rusher here. Here's my development. AJ wants the punter. We're going to stay away from the punter. I think they like this punter, but here's my developmental pass rusher, the big nasty Mason Reiger. Just a long-armed, big, productive guy at Wisconsin. Got a bad injury history, so that's why he'd be here available late. Well, Mason Rager. There we go. All right, let's take a look and see what the draft machine has to say for us. Again, we moved back a little bit. We gave up that 5th-round pick the Texans have and picked up a 3rd-round pick. Banks, Pregnon, Stowers, Hill Jr., Connor Lew, Roush, Damon Claiborne, and Mason Riger here. So there's the mock draft for you. We'll download the image and pull it up for the people so that everybody can see the mock draft a little bit clearer. Here's what we ended up with. Yeah, the Georgia punter is annoyed that Kamari Lassiter puts whipped cream on his ice cream. Here's what he ended up with. The Texans get a starter at defensive tackle or, at the very least, a key rotation player. Yes, there's some concern about injury. That's why you have depth at the position. Manuel Pregnon is your clear future at guard. He's an immediate backup for the team. Both guards missed time last year. Teller missed time. Ettinger missed a little bit of time. So you got Pregnon. You can teach him both the guard spots. Eli Stowers is one of the best pass catchers at the tight end position in this draft, and he immediately helps you out from that standpoint, gives you a weapon on the inside to do some really fun stuff with at the slot position, at the tight end position. Anthony Hill is a depth piece at linebacker that eventually you hope turns into a starter. Connor Lew probably doesn't help you as much in 2026, but he's a potential long-term starter at center for you in 2027 and beyond. Day one, Sam Roush has a discernible NFL skill blocking at the tight end position, but he can also help you long-term with some potential at the tight end spot as a receiver. Damon Claiborne is your speed element at running back. They do not have a pure speed guy. And Damon Claiborne is a guy that is your pure speed guy. And then Mason Riger is your developmental defensive end. Maybe he makes the team. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he needs to sit on the practice squad for a year. But that is where this mock draft ended up. 300 Ado weighs in. Can't understand why cornerback isn't higher on people's wish list. Can't believe the fan base wants wide receivers over their depth to an injury-prone DB room. Well, they're really not an injury-prone DB room. The first two guys didn't really miss any time last year in Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley. Stingley's got a game started streak that's longer than any of the amount of games that he missed. Lassiter would have played if it was a playoff game or late in the season. And but behind them, yes. I think, Ado, most people want veterans to compete with Jalen Smith and Tremont Smith and don't necessarily want a young guy there because you still have some seasoning and that young player's not going to get on the field right away. And they've got a couple of DB bodies in the building already. But again, I understand it, Ado. I would try to get a veteran in that equation. Just one of these veterans just kind of hanging around as a guy that would sign up to be a backup behind Lassiter and Derek Stingley. And Jalen Smith could very well be, nothing, but he finished training camp really strong and then was injured for the rest of the year. So yeah, they definitely need some help there at cornerback. Man, I don't know if any of these guys are going to be there at the picks that we took them. Yeah, I don't either, to be honest with you. Okay, I don't either. So, that's the beauty of the mock drafts here is it can get goofy and weird and strange and, I would say looking at this list, I would think Banks fell too far. Pregnon's about just right. Stowers fell a little further than I thought. Hill fell really far. Lew fell a little bit. Sam Roush fell a little bit. Claiborne's maybe a tiny overdraft. And then Riger, he might not get drafted, but he also could be like a 5th rounder. So that would be where I would look at the kind of where was this guy drafted? Where was that guy drafted? Barack says, only thing I prefer is McDonald or Hunter over Banks with the injury history. Otherwise, solid A+ draft. Yeah, we could have had Caden McDonald instead of Banks. James, I'd be shocked if Sam Roush is there in round 3. I feel like there's a chance he goes at the end of round 2. Certainly at the top of round 3. Getting Roush in the 4th would be nice. Yeah, it'd also be a fever dream. feel like PFF is underrating all of these players. It's worth noting I did not use Pro Football Focus's main big board, their default big board. I did not use their default big board for this. I used their draft analyst Trevor Sikkema's big board. And so it really focuses mostly on the top 100. So I did use a different big board scenario for the mock draft simulator. So that maybe is why it changed. Where did you take Anthony Hill? I took him 69th overall, which I think is probably too low for him. A lot of draft folk calling Lee Hunter the most unathletic guy in the draft and have day 3 grades on him. Thoughts? I think those people are stupid. Lee Hunter, not good at working out. You know what Lee Hunter is good at? Football. It's not a Mr. Universe contest. Can we entertain D-Hop being brought back for a vet presence? Why? I mean, he doesn't add anything to the room that you don't already have. He's not playing over Nico. He's not playing over Jaden Higgins. He doesn't play special teams like Xavier Hutchinson. He's not a pure speed guy. If you're going to add a veteran to the wide receiver room, add a pure speed guy. Add a pure speed guy. I like this mock draft. Why do you like Lou more than Slaughter? Handled a lot of responsibility at Auburn and a pro-style offense from the between-the-ears standpoint, and just was a better center prior to the knee injury than Slaughter. And I didn't love Slaughter at the Senior Bowl. Didn't love Slaughter at the Senior Bowl. I don't know. I think on namesake alone, Jake Slaughter could be legit and have a great wrestling career after. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The old wrestling career. All right, that was one mock draft. Anybody want to do another one? Does the chat want to watch another mock draft, or you guys want to get on with your Sunday? Because I'll do another mock draft. I'd be happy to do another mock draft. While you think about it, let me tell you again about my friends at Ace Outdoor Solutions. Bring your backyard dreams to life. And really, it's your front yard, too. It's outdoor solutions, front yard, backyard, from landscaping and a new fence to a custom outdoor kitchen, a custom patio cover, a custom pool in your backyard. Ace Outdoor Solutions does everything. Zach will give you a free quote, aceoutdoorsolutions.com, to see all the great work that he's done. He's a Texas fan just like you. So call him up tomorrow. Say, Zach, I want you to come over to my house. I live at so-and-so. I want you to give me a free quote in my backyard. I want a pergola, and I'm thinking about a pool, and I definitely need a new fence, or at the very least, I need my fence over there fixed. And, oh, by the way, what'd you think about free agency? So give Zach a call today and get that free quote. You're getting him. You're getting Zach right there on the phone. You're not going through 15 different, press this button, press that button. No, you're getting Zach on the phone when you call, and you're talking to him. Ace Outdoor Solutions gets you your customized and gorgeous backyard of your dreams. So give him a call today. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes. I love the mentals of Pat Coogan from Indiana at center. Wouldn't mind that. James wants to run it back. Drew wants another one. Touch of Trent wants another one. The amount of mock drafts I want from you today. The cow custom emoji from AJ. Okay. Well, you know it. The first one we just kind of go. The second one, we have a draft scenario wheel, and this will give us a scenario that we have to execute in this upcoming mock draft. So things like trade up in the first round, must draft a tight end early, defense first 2 picks, no defenders first 3 picks, must draft player Cody dislikes, trade out of the first round, must draft an O lineman in the first round, best player available if it makes sense. I think the caveat here on this one is we're not drafting a wide receiver if they're the best player available. Okay, we're going to just take off what the board says and take the best player as it makes sense. So let's see what the mock draft scenario is for this upcoming mock draft as the wheel spins and spins and determines our fate. Trade up in the first round. Okay. So trade up in the first round is our mock draft scenario. Let me go ahead and put that in here. Trade up in the first round. Just so everybody understands here, our mock draft scenarios that we have to trade up in the first round. So Let's move the speed down to slow here. Here's what would the Texans realistically be targeting in a trade up? So I think the biggest thing is something that you don't currently possess, which is a dynamic tight end. If a really good just game changer at linebacker started to fall, you could do something like that. If Jeremiah Love started to slip a little bit, you'd have to make the call. It would be expensive, but you'd have to make the call. The thing I would try to avoid is using 2027 capital. Okay, is using 2027 capital, but let's just pull it up here. Okay, so it'd be running backs, tight ends. I guess we'll add guards and tackles in there. Linebackers, DTs, and edge defenders. So just to use this as like a little reference point here. So I took the Pro Football Focus big board and I kept running backs, tight ends, guards, tackles, linebackers, edge defenders, and interior defenders in the big board. I got to imagine this is probably the only group of players that you would kind of be trying to trade up for. So, obviously Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles is going to be tough, but like if Bain slipped or Bailey slipped, if one of these giant big-time prospects at tackle slipped, like, gosh, it'd be tough not to add them to the equation. Kenyon Sadiq's probably the guy that I'm thinking about the most in that trade-up scenario. CJ Allen would be a fun one. I like Akeem Mesidor for a long-term edge prospect. He's a little bit of an older player at 25. And then at that point, you're getting to where the Texans actually draft. So that was just kind of give you the idea. This mock draft's going to go real slow here at the first. Okay? Going to go real slow here at the first with this mock draft. See if I can get this all. I think this is probably the better way to look at it. So we got it going nice and slow because we're going to kind of stop and kind of poke and prod and see how far up we can get. All right? So Mendoza, Bailey. All right, there goes Jeremiah Love right off the bat. We couldn't get to 3. There was no way we were getting to 3 for Jeremiah Love. Okay? No way we could get to 3 for Jeremiah Love. So that's off the board now. Now we need to think about one of these big giant edge rushers, one of these linebackers if they slipped a little bit. All right. There goes Kenyon Sadiq. What are we trading up for now? Man, I didn't think Sadiq would go to the damn old Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't even know what to trade up for. I don't even know what to trade up for now. Okay, let's just see here. Let's take a look at the teams that would be willing to move back here. The Vikings probably would move back a little bit. They need some extra draft capital. The Panthers would probably move back. They need a little bit of extra draft capital. So, I mean, the Eagles are always ready to move back. Cleveland probably doesn't need to move back. They got a lot of picks. Cheat and restart. Pause it and try to get Styles. Okay. I think this is worthy of a restart here. Because I think trade up in the first round, I think Kenyon Sadiq's probably the last player because you're not moving a few picks to go get a tackle when they have tackles. Like the tackle you're going to have a tackle at 28. I don't even know what player you would go and get. Like there's not a wide receiver. There's not like I guess you could say like Spencer Fano. So now we know Jeremiah Love's going 3. Get Jeremiah Love at 3. You can't get Jeremiah Love. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let me just see what one more pick does here. All right, they went Cassius Howe. Yeah, who is even left that you'd want to trade up for? Yeah. And I don't want to do the scenario where we trade up a pick and go get a linebacker. That's not fun. All right. Executive decision. Restart it. Let's go. Go nice and slow. Executive decision. Here's what I'm going to say. Trade up in the first round. Into the teens. Into the teens. Okay? Get up into the teens. All right. Mendoza. Arvell Reese. Here's Love. Nope. There's Sonny Styles. Here's Jeremiah Love. All right. Could you get too much? I'd do 28, 38, and a 2 to go to 5. Huh? 28, 38, and a 2 to go to 5 with the Giants. Should you do something like that? The Giants take that? Yes, they would. Okay, there you go. Now we're picking 5th. Here we go, Jeremiah Love. There you go. There's your trade up. There's your trade up. All right, we'll turn the mock draft machine on and let it kind of roll. Still got 59-69, but you got Jeremiah Love now. Who cares, Woody Marks? Who cares, David Montgomery? You got Jeremiah Love now. Why not? The Giants won't do that. They just did, Mike. They just did. Okay, I don't even know what the Texans are going to do here now. Oh, look, Eli Stowers is still here. We just drafted Eli Stowers, though. Oh, man. All right, D'Amico Ryans is furious. You have to go get him a defensive player now. Okay? He's upset. He's like, why did you trade all these assets that could have been used on defenders? You have to get me a defensive player now. I love trading Stooks. More. I like Grayson Halton. I like Dominique Orange. Some good defenders here. The Texans were watching this guy really close at his pro day. Brandon Cisse. Played a lot on the outside. Not a huge kid, but not a small kid. Casero spent a lot of time with him. I guess talked to him at the combine and then talked to him at the pro day. They didn't talk to Halsey. I don't think they go safety this early. I mean, screw it. This is the weirdo draft. I mean, D'Amico Ryans barges in, says you have to get me a defender. It's Josiah Trotter. Screw it. Let's just have the most positive jersey sales that we can do. I got defensive tackle, and we got Jeremiah Love. Just still so silly. D'Amico says, you got to give me another defender here. Somebody that can do something on defense. Maybe a future center. Heck, we don't pick again for a long time. Let's get that center here for the Texans long term. There's Hecht, Love, Orange, Hecht. Your picks. A little bit of weight here for 106. Here we go. Just a handful of picks left on the board. We're back on the clock again here at the top part of the 4th round. Ugh, this is ugly. Developmental guard here for you. And Billy Schrouth. They talked to him. Already got the center. Get the developmental guard. Got a defensive tackle. Just took a defensive tackle, though. I think you go developmental guard here. Schrouth. And those weights, after, we've done so many mocks where the weight is just a short one. Those weights between picks just take forever. All right, let's do something goofy here. Well, D'Amico didn't get his linebacker earlier. Betcher would be good. We're not drafting another running back. We already got 5 of them. On Zune's a tackle. It's probably going to play inside. York's too small. Llewellyn's too unathletic. Pounds is too small. Royer, Borkicker, Raritan. Oh, Raritan would be fun. Having a hard time not just taking Betcher. Special teams guy, former cornerback, turns into a starter at linebacker. Spends a little bit at safety there for one moment. All Big Ten guy, second team All-American, I think. Played a lot of football. I'll let the chat pick. Linebacker Betcher or tight end Raritan? Linebacker Betcher or tight end Raritan? Betcher or Raritan? Raritan's a big guy. 6'7", 250. Got some potential. Probably going to have more tight ends later. Probably not as many linebackers that you like as Betcher. I'm going linebacker. All right, linebacker. Did I say corner? I meant safety. Yeah, you safety turn linebacker. Did I say corner? A safety turn linebacker. All right. Somebody said you can get Raritan with the next pick. You lied to me. You lied to me. Okay, here's the draft up to this point. Jeremiah Love, a defensive tackle, a center, a guard, a linebacker. Don't need Claiborne. I like Thaddeus Dixon at the I like Thaddeus Dixon a lot at the Senior Bowl. The grades haven't been good. Not an interception machine. Outside guy. I don't know anything about this guy, but I love his name. Hezekiah Masses. Don't know anything about him. I love his name. I already drafted a center. I'd probably draft a Coogan. I already drafted a linebacker. I'd probably draft Henneke. Wonder what we have at defensive end. Project End. Yuck. Nothing. Caden Curry's fine, I guess. Caden Curry's fine, I guess. What are my tight ends here? I only have one pick between now and I only have this pick and then 243, so I need a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Oh, there's my guy, Oscar Delp. Duh. So I'm picking Oscar Delp. I know that the thing says he's not supposed to go here. He's going to go in round 5. I'm picking Oscar Delp. He's a receiver. He's a blocker. He's not Roush, okay? But he's going to help us out here, and they love Georgia players. So there's Delp. And we have that final 243 selection. Yeah, I like John Michael Gillenborg. Not only does he have a great name, but I think there's something there for him. Yes, that's the Wyoming tight end. I know some people didn't like the restart, but this turned out to be way more fun than trading up 2 picks for a linebacker. All right. Do whatever we want with this pick. Got a couple of quarterbacks here. If you wanted a quarterback, no. Is Gentry the guy that's like, yeah, he's the 6'6" linebacker that probably should have played defensive end, but I don't think he can add the weight. Is there a defensive end or a tackle or anybody that we've watched play on a Saturday and had a good game? Not really, huh? I think this is the punter. Right? Yeah, this is the punter. Boom. So there you go. This is one of the weirdest drafts you'll ever watch a Texans person do from a draft standpoint. They didn't like the big citrus pick. They like Cisse more. I'll show the full image here of this draft. Just absolutely banana land draft. Traded up to 5. Got 28, scale up 28, 38 in the second next year. Ended up with Jeremiah Love, the big citrus, a future center, a future guard, or at the very least, the next Jared Patterson, a special teams ace at linebacker that can also turn into a starter, a blocking tight end that can catch the ball a little bit, and a punter. What a absolutely weird mock draft. What a weird mock draft. Okay. I normally wouldn't do this, but because I cheated a little bit and had to restart, let's do the trade up, but let's go get Sadiq. Let's do it one more time. We'll go really fast on this one. We'll just try to get Sadiq. That's what we'll do. We'll just do, let's call it the first 5 rounds here. Okay. So we'll try to get Kenyon Sadiq. Let's do one more. And let's just try to get to Kenyon Sadiq. I think we go ahead and just call the Cowboys at 12. Okay, let's call the Cowboys at 12. And let's just see if we can just get to 12. Because we feel confident that Kenyon Sadiq is going to be there. So how do we get to 12 with the Cowboys? With 28. Oh, man. 28-59. Next year's third. Yeah. 28-59 next year's third. Will we do this? The Cowboys seem like they would do this. Bastards. Let's throw in 167 and get back 180. Let's throw in 167 and get back 218. All right, Jerry finally did it with us. All right, so we're up to 12 now. We're picking 12th. As long as Kenyon Sadiq doesn't go off the board, we're good. Oh, yeah, Henry would have been a good, give him Henry. All right, mock draft machine. See what you do for us. What a weird little start here at the top. Kansas City Chiefs get a guard / tackle. Corner for the Bengals. That makes a lot of sense. All right, and we're drafting up for Kenyon Sadiq. All right. So Sadiq, now we can move this thing up a little bit faster. Again, we'll go a little bit faster, but the idea would be you go get Kenyon Sadiq. He's the tight end that can help with the blocking. He's a receiving threat right away. He kind of is the new Schultz after Schultz. You can still build around him with later picks at the tight end of the next couple of years. But yeah, so Sadiq, and then we want a defensive tackle. Man, I think there's more defensive tackles I like and linebackers I like. I think R. Mason Thomas has a chance to be a guy that could take over for Danielle Hunter in 2 seasons. I like him a lot. Lee Hunter's tough. It's tough to not get Lee Hunter. I mean, that's my guy. Who wants to trade with us? The Steelers 53 is a big drop. 53, 50. Oh, look, the Cowboys want. All right. The Cowboys really want somebody to get our pick back. Man, 53, we're off the board for a while if we do that. You know what? I'm getting weird here. I'm drafting our Mason Thomas. I love our Mason Thomas. I think he's one of the better edge rushers in this draft. He's going to be a monster. And I know we got to wait a while to get back on the clock, and some really good players came off the board. But I'm drafting our Mason Thomas. Okay, this is our draft so far. Kenyon Sadiq, Mason Thomas. Our Mason Thomas, excuse me. Could really use a tight end. Could really use a defensive tackle. There's probably some defensive tackles that are going to be down there a little bit more. Darrell Jackson Jr. is a big guy. Big guy. The motor concerns are what worries you with Jackson Jr. Just kind of takes some plays off. Zachariah Branch would be your pure speed there at the wide receiver. Mike Washington would be your pure speed at running back. Just don't know how he totally fits. Here's a project that bumps inside for guard. I know it looks weird. He's going to be classified as a he's graduate. I know he's classified here as a tackle, but Tiernan is going to play guard at the next level. We can get a guard later, though. That's not fun. Let's do the demon. I just call Kyle Lewis the demon. You're going to look at it. You're going to see 6'1", 220. I don't know. This is the next Henry To'oTo'o, but helps you out right away. Kyle Lewis at linebacker, a guy that I think the Texans would just absolutely fall in love with. Let's do the demon. You traded up for an offensive player. D'Amico's getting his defenders. All right, now we really need to. Oh, look at this. Look at this little beauty. This kind of just fell in our lap. How did that happen? There's an interior defender for you. Okay, you got your tight end, your edge, a linebacker. Kind of hard not to draft the center, though, right? I mean, Sam Hecht falls to us. You got to kind of go. You got to go with that, right? Who wants to trade? Cardinals? Nah, too far back. All right. Weird draft. Hecht fell to us. We made it a weird draft, though, moving stuff around. Ah, there goes defensive tackles. All right. Have an edge, have a linebacker, have a center, and obviously got Kenyon Sadiq at the top. Not doing a linebacker. Got a center. What about a guy like Singleton? Top end speed, catch the ball. Helps you out. Helps you out in the future. Doesn't help you out as much in 2026. Kind of a pick for the future at linebacker. If Woody doesn't work out this year, he kind of takes over for Woody. Do some special team stuff. And Singleton. All right, there's our draft. What a weird draft. What a weird draft. All right, we'll pull it up here so everybody can see it. All right. Traded up for, I'm going to do this here. Bam. Traded up, used quite a bit of assets to go and get Kenyon Sadiq, but there's your tight end room. Sadiq, Dalton Schultz, and Foster Moreau. Maybe one of those other guys. But Sadiq, R. Mason Thomas is your future after Danielle Hunter. Plus, he has the ability probably right away to be the third edge rusher for this team. Kyle Lewis is, I call him the demon because he's just everywhere. He's a linebacker. He could help out with some of the Petrie stuff. Lewis is really good. Hecht falling to us kind of saves the idea of the draft a little bit. And then Nicholas Singleton is your long-term running back option. Montgomery's here for 2 more seasons, then it's Woody and somebody else, or if Woody's not here, it's Singleton. And yeah, as Mike knows, all 5 guys right away help you out. Lewis is immediate depth, special teams. R. Mason Thomas is your 3rd edge rusher, probably at the very least. He's rotating. He's your 4th. Sadiq helps you right away. Hecht is a guy that can help you right away. If not, he's your key backup. And then Singleton, when he gets healthy, is special teams. So, all right, this was the first draft. Move back a spot. Banks, Pregnon, Stowers, Hill Jr., Lou, Roush, Claiborne, Reiger, all names that we've talked about a ton here in the mock draft process. Okay, here's mock draft number 2. We got weird. We traded up for Jeremiah Love. Still got a defensive tackle. Still got a center. Still got a guard, linebacker, tight end, and a punter. And then this was the 3rd draft. This is probably my least favorite draft. Sadiq, R. Mason Thomas, Kyle Lewis, Sam Hecht, and Nicholas Singleton. All right, chat, quickly. 1, 2, or 3, which draft did you like the most? 1, 2, or 3. Which draft did you like the most? Trucker Cam, TX, you got to do a 40 to get ready to be a first rounder. But if I ran a 40, it'd take me 50 minutes, that is. No, I'm not running a 40 anytime soon. Nobody needs to see mass moving like that. One. We got a 2. 1. Got a 2. 2. 1. 1 would be the most impactful, even if Banks busts. Yeah. JB Allen's in here. He says 1. Yeah, so this is the one that wins. Yeah, I mean, this one's the most. This one to me is the most fun because you get depth contributors all throughout the team, and then you still lean on the guys that are key players already on this team. But you get depth guys who could have a role day one for you, and then this is kind of, even if four of these guys turn out to be not worth a damn, and the other guys are still solid players, play kind of to what they can be. This is a draft that you can really get excited about. Probably not as many jerseys sold, but they make you a better football team, more so than the other ones. This one sells jerseys. And this one ended up being really weird. Ended up being weird. So yeah, mock draft number 1, the winner today. Mock draft number 1, the winner today. All right, there we go. I told the folks earlier this week, if you stay with me through the absence of vacation, I would get you the mock drafts. And we got 3. Little mock draft exercise for you. A couple of different ways we go about things. The scenario wheel still has many other scenarios. Many other scenarios in the scenario wheel. So we will have many more mock drafts before this thing is said and done. Sure, things will change because scenario will probably move around. So lots to get to here in the draft process. Plenty of good stuff coming up this week on SNL. Myself and Landry Locker from the Locker Room each and every day at 4 o'clock. Live at Spanky's on Friday. Do not miss out on Spanky's this Friday. Get you some pizza, watch you some basketball. It's going to be a fantastic time. Be hanging out, talking football, watching hoops, eating pizza. What more could you ask for? Spanky's this Friday, March 27th. Don't miss out on Spanky's. I almost went to Spanky's yesterday, but I knew I was going there Friday. So I waited a little bit. It's going to be a fun one. All right, that's mock draft Sunday morning for you. Sunday fun day. What better way to do it than with some mock drafts? We end the live streams the same way each and every time. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, at the buzzer, Derek. I don't think the Texans want to pay first-round DT after rookie contract. That's fair, but you get him for 5 years at the non-rookie contract, and the team's going to be a totally different situation 5 years from now. Maybe you would want to pay that guy because he'd be at that level. But you get the guy for 5 years, 4 years before he's really pissed about the money. So I understand your concern. And that's why like a second or third round guy as a rotational probably makes a little bit more sense. But just using the guy for 4 or 5 years and then worrying about it down the road, I think is probably the way to do it. Plus, Philly kind of shows you can still kind of fit in a defensive tackle in the big money. So it's a good point. It's a good point, Barry. Derek. Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hip hoppity, dip doppity do.